Since we have already discussed what BCS is, what Git is, and we have also discussed Git doesn't store the differences between the versions of project, but rather it stores a complete snapshot of the project at a given time. In this video, let's discuss what a Git object model is and how data is being actually stored in Git. This information is very crucial for further understanding of concepts in Git. But before that, welcome back to Code Studio. So the items that are stored in Git are called objects, and each object is uniquely identified by a unique identifier known as Git ID. This is a 40 character long hexadecimal string which is checksummed or hashed based on the content inside the file. So whenever you change the content inside the file, the checksum or the Git ID changes accordingly. So it's completely unique. Git ID is also shortened to a 4 to 6 character long so that it's easier to understand on the Git logs. So this Git object store contains all the information pertaining to the project, the audit trail, when the versions has been committed or saved into the Git repository, and every information is completely stored inside this Git object store. And we'll see in what different manners the data is being stored inside this Git object store. So let's understand the same again with a story or with a simple example. Let's just say I'm storing a project called my project, and inside this I have two subdirectories or two subfolders called lib and src. Inside lib I have three files, namely file1.c, file2.c and file3.c, and inside src I have two files again called file4.c and file5.c. And inside the my project folder itself, apart from these two subdirectories, I have other files like file6.c and file7.c. So let's just say this is the project I'm storing inside Git, and let's just see how data is being stored pertaining to this project. Right. So broadly classifying, there are four types of Git objects that are being stored. The first one is known as Git blob. A Git blob is a Git object that stores the file data. It contains the whole content of the file in a binary format. The size of the Git blob depends on the size of content of the file it's storing. For example, in our directory my project, every file that is present in the directory, namely file1, file2, file3, file4 and all files.c are created as Git blobs where the binary information is stored inside this Git blob. So for every file there is a Git blob created with the same name or different names, it depends on it, and it also has a unique ID to the Git blob. The second type of Git object is called a Git tree. Git tree is nothing but a Git object which stores some bunch of pointers to other blobs or to other trees. So I'll explain you again with the same example of my project. Let's just say I'm storing the tree pertaining to the folder library. So this tree pertaining to library stores the pointers to the children blob called file1.c, file2.c and file3.c. I'll store the Git IDs or pointers to these blobs so that whenever I want to build this library folder, I can use this Git object called tree and I can recreate the same directory structure. In the similar way, my project stores the pointers to file6.c, file7.c blobs, and also it stores the pointers to the trees, library and src. So whenever you clone from a distributed version control server into your local repository, and Git observes the tree and it observes the pointers, it observes the connections and recreates the same directory in your local. So this is the use of tree. So we have seen the major important things, the Git blob and the Git tree, which basically stores the information or the snapshot of the particular version. Now we have to see the third type of Git object called a commit object. Most probably you have heard about what a commit object is when you start learning about Git. But in this video, we'll see what actually a commit object stores. A commit object stores the following information. It stores the directory trees hash. So what does this mean? Let's just say I'm committing this particular project. It stores the Git ID pertaining to the tree of my project. So whenever I see a commit, I see, okay, this is pertaining to this repository. I can easily identify to which directory this commit was issued. So the number one data it stores is a directory trees hash or the ID. Number two is it stores its reference to its previous commit or something called as parent commit. So this reference to previous commit helps in creating what is called as a commit graph. A commit graph is nothing but a graph where you see a commit connected to its previous commit and that commit connected to its previous commit, and you get a beautiful commit graph. There's a lot to discuss about commit graphs, so we'll discuss more about it in the further videos where we have to learn about branching, merging and stuff. So the third information that's being stored in this commit and the fourth one also are author info and committer info. The information pertaining to the author who wrote the commit and the committer who committed the commit. Both can be same in most of the cases, but it may be different too, so they have placed two different fields. The fifth important information that is being stored in this commit object is called a commit message. This is nothing but a descriptive text that you can write or store, which is completely optional, and this commit message is used for our personal use. Whenever you want to retrieve something in future, you can easily look up to commit messages. Okay, this was meant for this, this was meant for this commit was meant for this, and you can retrieve back to that particular commit. So this helps in creating a perfect audit trail of the commits. The last and final type of Git object that's being stored is called a tag. So what's a tag actually means? Tag actually means placing some information to a particular object, right? So this is something similar to that. It's a named pointer. So pointers generally have very different names in hexadecimal format, but tags are basically a custom named pointers. So let's just say there's a commit, which I think this is a really important commit that I want to show to clients. So I'll tag that commit with this tag object, saying that okay, this is a client commit. So whenever I look up to my Git history and see okay, this is a client commit, I can easily see the tags, right? So I'll retrieve back to the tag and show it to my client. So tag can be assigned to any Git object. It can be assigned to another tag itself. So I can assign a tag to another tag also. This is the use of tag, and tag also stores the following information inside it. Object ID. This is the information of the Git ID pertaining to the object which is pointing to. Let's just say this is pointing to a commit. I'll store the commit's ID inside this tag. Number one. Number two is the object type. So let's just say this tag is pointing to a commit. I'll store that the object type is commit. If it's pointing to a tree, I'll say that it's pointing to a tree inside the tag. Third one is the tagger information. The person who tagged the tag to particular object, I'll store his information, maybe his email and credentials. Number four is a tag name. That's quite important, right? I need to store what name this tag needs to have, the custom name that we have been discussing about. And number five is a tag message. This is similar to commit message, a descriptive text that you want to write down for further audit trail. So summarizing what we have discussed in this video, Git object store contains four types of objects: Git blob, Git tree, commit and tag. Git blob contains the data of file that's being stored in binary format. Git tree contains bunch of pointers to other blobs or trees. Number three is commit. Number four is tag, which is a named pointer. So I hope you understand what Git object model is. Go through this video once if you don't understand or require further clarity upon these topics, because strong foundations on this topic will be really helpful if you want to learn further advanced topics in Git. And if you like this video, please hit the like button below. If you love the content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button and also share this video to all your programming friends. Thanks and bye.